I'm wondering what are some of the other benefits we might see when we develop a spiritual practice? Are
Yeah,
there
I,
things
I
that we haven't talked about?
I have a whole list for you.
Oh, I love this.
Whole list for you, April.
Please.
Yeah, one of the biggest ones that I've seen from myself and my work with clients is nervous system
Mm.
regulation. Like
Hmm.
a lot of times we as HSPs, like we're prone to emotional and sensory overstimulation. And what a spiritual practice does, especially like something like meditation, prayer, breath work, it helps calm and regulate the nervous system. So that is a big one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
huge one, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm a somatic therapist. I'm trained in somatic experiencing. And so like I really to my clients who are open to it, I really support them in developing a spiritual practice in order to help, manage the daily stressors that we all
Hmm.
experience, I feel like more and more these days.
And this is exciting for me because we often see regulation practice now. They're everywhere at this point, all over
Yeah.
Instagram and everywhere. But they almost seem so functional, kind of empty in a way. Like
Yeah.
do this to feel like this and get on with your
Yep.
life.
Yeah.
Um, but we can fold in a deeper experience around these practices. Because I think
Yeah.
about for myself, I like my yoga practice, for instance. It's not just a physical practice, it is a spiritual practice. It's very
Yep.
sacred to me. I've done it for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Um, Same with my regulation practices. There's a mindfulness element. It's not just me calming overwhelm or anxiety.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
reconnecting
yeah.
with myself and
Yes.
there's an energy, there's just something beyond me that
Yep,
happens.
yep,
And I
yep.
don't know that I've ever heard anyone talk about that overlap before
Yeah. It
between the
it
two.
yeah, it is definitely there for people who
Mm-mm.
are seeking it. And I feel like, I describe it as because a lot of people when they're starting a spiritual practice are just like, how is it working? Like, am I
Right.
how can I tell? How can I tell if I'm receiving the benefit?
Yeah.
And nervous system regulation is one that you can almost experience immediately. And what I
Mm.
tell my clients is after you engage in whatever practice you have chosen, if you feel a little bit calmer, if you feel like you just had a nice drink of water or a nice, you can do a nice sigh,
Yeah.
it's working.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Something starts to soften.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
often talking with my wife about this because she's like, how do you know it's working?
Yes.
She'll often ask
Yes.
me that. Or she's like,
Yes.
I'm like, oh, I just felt my nervous system relax. She's like, how do you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like,
And
well, it is. It's just like an exhale.
yeah. And sometimes that's really hard to describe, but once you feel it, you understand it.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But that's a
Yeah.
great question, though. How do I know it's working?
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah.
is well, it depends on what your spiritual practice is.
Mm.
But what I have found is that the biggest way to tell if it's working is when you show up differently.
Mm.
Like immediately you can have that sense of like, deep breath, like, that
Right.
is very cleansing.
Hmm.
But on a more significant basis, like if
Mm.
you can say, like, normally I would have been at a level of nine activation in this circumstance, but I showed up and I was a six. Like to me, that is a big indicator that something positive is happening.
Ooh, I love this.
Yes.
It's like there's
Yeah.
these ripples that go out.
Yeah. And sometimes when you change, you don't have a conscious understanding that you have changed until you're in a similar situation and you show up differently, you react and respond differently.
Mm. It's so
Yeah.
true. I always wished I could sit next to myself 5 years ago and see the difference. Well, we
Yeah.
can't do that,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
can. So it might not be immediate, but when you're in that a similar situation again, maybe at work or in a relationship or with a certain person, like, oh, I'm different.
Yeah,
Something's
absolutely.
changed.
Absolutely. And that is definitely growth and a spiritual practice can definitely help and helping
Mm-hmm.
to, facilitate that growth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we could get, so for folks who maybe aren't, they haven't embodied this experience yet, they haven't seen themselves show up differently, or maybe haven't tracked it. Maybe they have, they just haven't taken that in. What could be an example? Is it I'm maybe less irritable with someone, or um, I have more tolerance for someone who's pushing my boundaries? I'm curious
Yeah.
if there's something, an example of what one might notice if something's
Yeah.
changed.
Like all of that.
All of it, yeah.
Yes, all of that. And for HSPs, um, we are very conscious of our levels of
Yeah.
activation. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times when working with HSPs, that's the gauge that I use.
Yep.
Sometimes, the clients, my HSP clients will say, like, I was so dysregulated, I couldn't speak, like, I couldn't even like figure out what to say in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so if a client can find themselves in a similar situation with a supervisor, a friend, or
Yep.
a partner, and they could say, like, I was able to stay grounded. I was able to
Yep.
hear what was being communicated to me. I was able
Mm-hmm.
to respond. So a lot of times my baseline is level of activation.
It's so true. If you can find your words in the moments,
Yeah,
if you are in the room,
yeah.
that's a big change.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that is a huge change because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the overwhelm gets to be too much, whether it's emotional or sensory, and we don't know what really is happening.
Exactly. We can, yeah, we
Yeah.
kind of, well, I think out of self-protection, just start to maybe check out of the
Yep.
situation.
Yep.
And our nervous systems are trying to manage the everything that's coming at us, especially if we're coming in already activated. And
Yeah.
then that's just overflowing. So
Yep.
that could be a huge sign. There's a
Yes.
little bit more capacity, a little
Yes.
bit more
Yes.
presence. Yeah, a little bit
Yeah.
more ability to stay in the moment and yeah, actually say what you want to say.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
And another benefit, April, that I wanted to
Hmm.
talk to you about
Please.
is, boundary strengthening.
Mm.
A lot of times we as HSPs, like, we are overwhelmed by other people's emotions.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can't tell where someone else's emotions end and ours begin.
Yeah.
So spiritual exercises like, grounding and energy work, they can help us build up that boundary to have an increased level of discernment.
Hmm. That's
Yeah,
true. You can start to see where you start and the other person begins.
yeah,
Having
yeah,
that, yeah. That's true
absolutely.
because the more, I'll speak for myself, the more dysregulated I am, my boundaries become a lot more porous and it's dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous. I love that. Yeah, it can be, definitely. Yeah,
Yes, right.
yeah,
So you have more ability to discern, to set those boundaries, those limits with people.
yep,
Hmm.
absolutely.
And I wonder too, I feel like there's something deeper even there. Maybe understanding why it's so important or more self-preservation. I'm not sure. Like I would maybe see what I'm protecting. My own
Yeah.
energy, my peace, whatever it is. I'm not sure. There's something there. I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. Like, and maybe that's just like, and maybe that leads a little bit into, another benefit that I wanted to talk about, which
Please.
is having self-compassion. And
Yes.
this one was
Yes.
a big one for
Yeah.
me.
Hmm.
And, like you were touching on before, sometimes when you are overwhelmed by someone else's emotions, setting that boundary can be an act of self-compassion. Like, I am going to do this because I have value, I have worth, I am like protecting this gift. So it's
Mm.
more like a incentive to engage in
Yeah.
setting these boundaries.
Right when you
Yeah.
start to recognize the value you bring or that you inherently have.
Yeah. Yeah, because most of, I'm not going to say most, because a
Yeah.
lot of us were told we're too sensitive,
Yep.
we're too much. And
Yep.
so it is a big deal to get to the point where you can say, I am enough and it is fine. And I have this difference and I am going to, look at it as a gift, and maybe a spiritual practice can, support me in shifting some of these views that I have
Mm-hmm.
that no longer serve me to the same degree as before. I'm going to say that they probably didn't, serve you at all, but some of us
Right.
believe that those beliefs served us at on
True.
some level. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.